Alright, welcome to Radiant Guardians. My name is Crispy, and yeah, please rock the like, subscribe and share for you girl. I would really appreciate that. Today I've got my notes as usual, so I don't forget anything and I don't leave anything out that is really important to this message that I'd like to share with you guys. So I do a lot of research, a lot of my own research, and I listen to a lot of truth speakers, way showers, light workers, messengers, etc, etc. So I watch quite a lot of videos. I just about spend most of my time in my day watching videos and learning, learning, growing, expanding, and taking in a lot of information. But the thing is that what I'm really trying to say is that from all of that information that I learn and take notes, and I do take a lot of notes. I have a telephone library to prove it. But I do take a lot of notes, and when I listen to the information that is coming through from speakers like Laura Eisenhower or David Icke, Alex Collier, who else, just at the top of my head, Laurie Ladd, maybe April Elizabeth, or is it Elizabeth April? Either one. So I do listen to a lot of videos and people, even like Ishmael Perez and some of the people that he invites on to do a live with him as well. So a good number of guest speakers and speakers of all walks of life, right? Because you've got to have a variety. You've got to have, you've got to be open, right? You've got to have an open heart to be able to listen to all information that comes in. Even if there might be someone that you don't resonate with, or maybe you don't agree with, or maybe you don't feel a connection with. Well, I give everyone the benefit of the doubt. So I listen to a broad, wide bunch of people, even tarot readers, that read cards and things like that, because they're channeling messages through what's coming through the energy that they're reading from their cards. And so you've got to be open, right? You've got to have an open heart to be able to take bits and pieces of information that is coming through. For me, however, when I listen to information that others are sharing, I will get a vision of something else. So they could be talking about one thing and I'm getting a vision about another thing, right? And that's why, and this is why I make these videos for you guys, is because what I learn from them, I bring my own take and vision of what I see and what I get from it. And today I'm going to share that with you guys. And but really, just only take what resonates for you, and use your own discernment, right? Own discernment, own intuition, whatever it is, however it is that you are on your ascension and your journey in this ascension path, right? Alright, so what this one is about is why is the sun bright white and what's going on? Alright, so that's what I'm going to talk to you guys about today, is about the brightness of the sun and why. Why is our sun so white, right? Alright, so without further ado, please rock the like, subscribe and share for you girl. And also, warm welcome. I'll extend a warm welcome to you if you're here for the very first time. Okay, so let's just jump right in. So do you remember the days when the sun was yellow? And as a kid, you probably drew pictures or did paintings of a sky being blue with fluffy white clouds and a yellow sun. All right? We all drew or painted a picture with a blue sky and a yellow sun. So why would we always, back in the days, just paint a picture of a sky? We would paint a nice, beautiful picture, and we could have been just like young kids painting pictures with blue sky, white clouds, and a yellow sun. Well, it's because we paint what we actually see, right? And back in the, let's say, 70s and the 80s and the 90s, right, up into the 2000, the sun was actually yellow. Well, that's what I saw. Or that's how I remember it, as being yellow. And so we would draw or paint pictures with a blue sky and yellow sun because we always painted what we saw. And as a kid growing up in the 80s, as I was just saying before, 70s, 80s, 90s, the sun was very beautiful and yellow. So what the F, right? What the F is going on with our sun today? Why has it turned white? Now, I tell you what, you ask any young child that is in primary school, maybe like 8, 9, and you ask them to paint a picture. Paint a picture of, beautiful nature with animals in it, horses in it, whatever they desire and like. You ask them to paint this picture, paint a picture of the beautiful sky. And wouldn't that surprise you? They go and paint the blue sky, white clouds, and a white sun. I'm guessing that is what they would paint, because that is what we can see now as a sun that is very white. Alright, so I did a bit of Google research, right? And on the matters of our sun, okay? As glowing sphere of hot gas, most of the gas was hydrogen, right? Which gives off that yellow in colour. And now it is becoming more of a helium, turning white. So that was my little bit of allowing my fingers to do the walking and doing a bit of research and finding out, okay, what's going on with our sun. Used to be yellow, which is hydrogen, and now it is white, which is helium, right? So, yeah, interesting stuff. And also I share with you guys because here in New Zealand on the 8th of April, okay, because we're in that time of solar eclipse. So apparently the 8th of April was to be the solar eclipse. Well, it actually happened here for us, I think, on the 9th, and overseas, on the other side of the world, it would have been the 8th over there. But anyway, on the 8th of April here in New Zealand, around noon, I think it was, and our sun was extremely bright. I mean, my daughter, she came home and she says, "Have you seen the sun?" And I says, "No, I haven't even been outside." And she goes, "Have a look. It is bright white to the point that you couldn't actually even see the sun. All you could see was this bright, shimmering light in the sky, just there. And I opened the ranch slider, right, and I went to look out, and I thought, oh my gosh, you can't even see the sun. All you can see is this like light. It's just like beaming. That is it. And the only time you could probably see the sun is that if you have to look at it for at least 5 or 8 seconds before you can see the outline of the sun, right? The circle of it. So, yeah, I thought to myself, wow, that is extremely bright. So that was here in New Zealand on the 8th of April. And, yeah, it's just unbelievable. I can't even really explain it. It's just it's so hard to explain, but it's like you couldn't actually see the sun. You can only see the brightness, or this bright is like a flash, right? Just a flash, but you don't see where the flash is coming from. So it was just a brilliance. It was a very brilliance, a white. Okay, so yeah. And so yep, you'd probably have to look at it for some time before you could actually see the outline of the sun, and then you could actually see it. But you had to look directly in that direction of where the sun is, or where you think the sun might be, and just focus for about like 5 or 8 seconds until you see the outline of the sun, and then you could see through the brightness of that reflection, the actual sun. So I was like really amazed and mesmerized by that as well. So what is happening is that our solar system and sun is going through a transfiguration, a transmutation, and that's what's going on. That's what's happening at the moment. Our sun is converting itself from hydrogen to helium. All right, so it's changing its composition, and helium is 100 to 1,000 times more brighter than hydrogen. So it is going to produce more light. If it's coming from a place, if it's helium right now, it's going to produce more and more and more light, which it did, and which we had seen, on the 8th. So going from hydrogen to helium, yeah, and that's just so amazing. So when we were, alright, where did I get up to? So why is it going through this period of changing from hydrogen to helium? And then changing its composition, and helium is 100 times or 1,000 times more brighter than hydrogen is. So it's producing more and more light. And this is why it's necessary to flush out the rogue groups from underground, because they can't stand this light. This is what, those entities that are underground are so afraid of. They are afraid of this brightness of this helium sun that is changing in these times from hydrogen, yellow, to a very bright helium, UV. So yeah, it just makes so much sense now. While they're trying to block out the sun, while they're trying to put out so many clouds in the sky. I want to say the word with all the lines in the sky, so they try and find ways to block the sun, right? And it just makes so much sense that they're trying to protect something or someone. Ponder the thought. All right, so moving on. And so that bright sun is going to flush out anything that is hidden underground. Right. So they were, where did I get up to? Yeah. And so this is necessary to flush out rogue groups from underground because they can't stand this light. And when they were flushing out the tunnels, right? Remember that? I think it was back in 2020 and all the tunnels were being flushed out and there was, things like explosions and that you would see and catch wind of it or catch news of something happening underground. And there's explosions, a lot going on, clearing out the tunnels and things like that. Flushing out these tunnels of all these non-human that would put UV lights. So they'd put UV lights in these tunnels so that these creatures would run into the UV lights and they would stop dead in the tracks because they were completely blind. They couldn't see anything because they can't stand the UV lights. And it's like for example, a deer in headlights, right? They just stop in their tracks because they can't see any further. They become blind, just like a possum. A possum, out on the road somewhere and then a light comes along and their headlights and the flash of those lights just blinds them in their spot, and it's like they don't move, and they're just blinded by the light. All right, so it is for that reason why they're trying to block out the sun, and only because now to protect their own kind. It just makes so much sense. And I listen to others that are talking about this conversation and having a conversation about the sun and etc. What's going on with our sun. So it's really interesting and to hear other people's take on it. So I have my take on it, and I have a vision. I see when people start talking, I get shown something else, and this is what I share with you guys. So go outside. If you haven't seen it already and you haven't actually noticed, go outside, take a look at it, and if you haven't noticed your sun has transformed from yellow to white, then go and have a look when it's actually a sunny day. Alright? Yeah. So I noticed it about something like 4 or 5 years ago, is when I first noticed that the sun was white. And every time I sort of looked up at the sky, no one told me about this, right? I didn't even get this information from anyone. I didn't even think anything to even look at the sun. No one even told me to go and look at the sun. I was sitting outside, and this was during lockdown. I was sitting outside, just having a cup of tea or coffee, whatever it is that I was having my lunch outside, and I just so happened to look up for some reason. I just so happened, to look up at the sun, and I sat there and thinking to myself, wow, is that sun white, or is it just me? And that's when I really noticed it, was in 2020, because I thought to myself, as well as I was looking at it, I thought to myself, isn't the sun supposed to be yellow? So I was having these questions, you know. I was questioning myself, going over in my thoughts about the sun and what I could see. And I thought, it's white, but shouldn't it be yellow? Alright. And then I just went back to having my my cup of tea and my lunch and whatever it is that I was doing, and that was it. Didn't really give it any more thought after that. It was like, whatever. But the funny thing is that when you do come into experience and awakening to the truth, and then you start to see things differently, it's over a period of time, right? I mean, I noticed it, but I just didn't take much notice and didn't even bother. It's not until you're going down this path and this journey on your ascension, and that's when you start to question it. It's like, yeah, okay, right, now let's dig into that information. Alright, so this is a sign that we are very close to, I don't know, a grand solar flare, coming from this helium sun, right? This helium UV. Is that why, they're so afraid of the sun? Is because the sun is actually going to have that flare of helium, and that helium is just going to come all across the world. And it's going to penetrate into the earth. Every nook and cranny is going to be exposed by this light. Well, anyway, so yeah, this is a sign that it's getting close to a grand solar flare, possibly. I don't know when that's going to happen, and frankly, I don't care when it's going to happen. All I'm worried about is making sure that I'm ready right here, that my body is solar flare damn ready for this solar flash that everybody's waiting upon. So I don't actually really care when it's going to happen. I'm just worried about doing the inner work and making sure that I am ready for it, that my body's ready for it, that it's going to handle it, that it's going to take it, alright? Take it on the chin. Alright, so when the powers that be try to do everything in their power to block the sun, that's a sure sign. That is a sure sign, guys, that it's almost time, any day now. Any day now. So yeah, they're getting desperate. Getting really desperate. And you've got to watch. You've got to watch and see all the things that they're trying to do. Alright? Like shooting missiles or rockets and what have you at the moon. It's like, what the? And when it bursts forth with so much power, it will, and I mean will, reach every corner of our planet Earth, from inside and out, to every nook and every cranny. That light is going to penetrate everything. Nothing is going to be able to hide from it. Nothing. There will be no place to run, no place to hide. So, the higher the light, the higher the frequency. That's what's changing our DNA these days. That's what's changing our body's DNA. That's what's exposing all of the dark shit that it's been in the open, but none of us could see it. So it's exposing all the dark shit that is hidden, right? All that shit that's been hidden, all the BS that's been hidden is going to be exposed by this light, man. And the final battle is that the dark hats are trying to stop our ascension. is what this battle and this fight and this spiritual war has all been about. Stopping our ascension, humanity's ascension. Stopping, trying to put a cork on that bottle, right? That's what's happening. And one of my Matrix videos, I don't know which one that was, I did share with you guys that we are the ones that created the Matrix. We created it all. We're the one that created it. Oh man. And all they had to do was keep us in the illusion. Keep us in the illusion that our reality was the real deal. That's all they had to do. But we created it. We created the Matrix. So because we were so heavily programmed, right? Indoctrinated. Heavily programmed, indoctrinated. We had to snap out of the programming. We really did. And because we were heavily programmed, we wouldn't have even noticed that our reality is real or not. So that is until you step outside of that facility, right? Like on that movie, The Island. You step out of the facility and your eyes are suddenly opened to see the difference between what is real and what has been the illusion all the time. And so what do you do? What do we do? Right? So under the guise of believing that as mind, personality, story and program, by the powers that be, we began to create it. Yep, we did. So on this ascension journey that humanity is experiencing, we are moving on. We're going forward into a new world and creating something that these soulless entities cannot be a part of, leaving them behind. And I tell you what, they're getting desperate. And because some of those beings haven't a soul, but they actually understand that they're staring down the barrel of a Remington 870, metaphorically speaking though. So I'm going to switch it up just a little bit. I'm going to switch this message up just a little bit and talk about the Jabadoo or Jabaroo. Okay? You all know what I mean, right? You just got to catch my drift. Okay? So yeah, I might have to speak in code. Alright? So yeah, a code in this message and the way that I'm going to phrase it. Okay? So here's a question to ponder. Alright? Here's a question to ponder. And I haven't, really spoken about the Jabaroo and Jabadoo, okay, in my videos or anything like that. So, yeah, just catch my drift and the way I start to phrase things, alright? I'm pretty sure you'll catch on pretty quick because you're all smart anyway. Alright, so what was the absence that many felt after they had their Jabadoo? What was the absence that so many felt after they had their Jabadoo, right? Their Jabadoo, their meds, What was the absence? Alright, it was, you guys, it was a feeling of emptiness. Yeah, that feeling of emptiness. In exactly the same way a person suffering from depression would feel. A void. They had a feeling of emptiness, a feeling of how a person suffering from depression would feel. They had that feeling of void. And what is that void? That was the absence. Wait for it. That was the absence of the living God. Source, prime creator, great spirit. They couldn't feel that anymore. A lot of them lost that feeling. After the jabberoo, jabba-doo. Gabba gabba doo. After the meds. That feeling in absence of the living God, prime creator source, great spirit. And as soon as the rollout of the most potent meds was made available, and everyone was getting their free KFC, right? Getting their free KFC, with it, that stronger rooster booster meds, it was just an absence and feeling of source, of God, creator, great spirit, mother, father, God, the living God, was felt no more. So it's placed itself between the double helix, right down the centre, the middle creating a third strand, and this is what happened. That's what you call the transhumanism. They're actually trying to change, right? Those whom have taken the jabba-doo, the rooster booster, it's all changing. It's changed everything. And are technically no longer human because of the change in the DNA. So when we add what isn't natural to our physical avatar, our body, what isn't natural, right? And I'll just phrase it this way, but you have to catch my drift, right? So when we put something in the body, some kind of chemical, etc., it's going to change something. It's going to change the vessel. It's going to change this. Okay? So the stage was actually set. 5 years ago it was set. They had set the stage. And 5 years ago, for everyone to get their jabberoo, alright, their meds, those that got it will have followed their handlers, because there's that word again, handlers. I shared in my recent video about the Matrix and how, you have handlers in your life. Alright, so they set the stage 4 to 5 years ago, everyone getting their jabberoos and meds, and those that got it will have followed their handlers, because it is your handler that will get it without questioning it. Your handlers went along and got their free KFC without even questioning it. They didn't question it at all. Why is that? So, yeah, someone close to you will have talked you into getting your lollipop, right? Or your dairy milk chocolate, or your free KFC, or your free McDonald's. They would have talked you into, hey, go and wait in a queue. Go and stand in line and you get a free lunch. That's what they were doing here in New Zealand, giving out free lunches, just so that you go and get your jabberoo. Whoop-de-doo. It's not funny, but I've got to phrase it this way so that I don't get flagged. So yeah. So human souls will have in their lives handlers that manipulate it and steer you in the direction towards being kept enslaved in the matrix, plugged in still. Alright? It's kind of a thing, you know, I'm just getting this vision right now, and just being shown that, you know, you pull out those plugs and, you know, you get on with your life and you're doing all your work, and, you know, then you get distracted and your focus is shifted over there somewhere, and they pop around the back and they plug you back in. I'm just getting a vision of that right now. And that does happen. And so that's what they're used to. Sorry, back here. So yeah, steer you in the direction towards being kept enslaved in the matrix and plugged in. That's what they're used for. So there was no tricking anybody into getting it. There was absolutely no tricking anybody. Everything was free will. Everything was, you know, people just followed along. Alright? Followed along. So like the, who's the one that's at the front with the little flute? No? Follow the piper. Alright. So that's what they're used for. Handlers were used so that there was no need to trick anybody into it. Alright? And that's what they were used for. So no one was getting tricked into that. No tricking the masses to getting their meds, and there was just handlers booking in to get their meds and then would follow the lead. They would just follow the lead. Alright? Going along and doing the same. That's how it was done, guys. This is how so many people, souls, went off to get their free KFC and their free lunch and their free lollipops and ice cream and cakes and what have you, and free lunch and food. This is how they were doing it. I mean, okay, you know, luring them with free food so that they can get their jabberoo. But their handlers were going along and making bookings, and then you just got the family following along, and everybody is having free KFC. And all the masses, they lined up, you know, there was just all the massive lines of cars lining up to get this free KFC. And we're all handlers and human soul, followed by free will. And all these handlers went out to get their free KFC, and then all the souls just followed along. Go and get their free lunch. Alright? Go get their free lunch. So am I making sense here to anybody? Please rock the like, subscribe and share for you girl. I'd really appreciate that. And this all ties in with a biblical truth. Yeah, let's talk about that. It all ties in with this biblical truth and plan to receiving the mark of the beast. Revelations 13, 16, 17. And so both small and great, rich and poor, free and bond. Alright? And notice, take note, right, of the free and bond. That is actually written in the Bible of Revelation. Free and bond. This means those that without questioning, right, without questioning it, went and received their free lunch. Without even questioning what the ingredients in their lunch is or was. They just went ahead and got their free lunch. Didn't even question the ingredients in it. So not questioning it, questioning it, there might be, not questioning that there might be anything in it that could create an allergic reaction. I mean, come on. You're going to go and get a free lunch and you're not even going to question the person who made it, the person who is handing it out, what the ingredients in it is, right? You're just going to shove it into your mouth and, hope for the best. I mean, what if you're allergic to peanuts? Or, anything that you could have an allergic reaction to. Why would you stick something in your mouth if you don't know what the ingredients in it is? Are you catching my drift? Come on, guys. Oh, man. And so, it is why there were so many deaths. So many deaths. It is when we don't check if we are healthy enough to be able to have it in the first place. You didn't even go and check yourself first. Right? Didn't even check that your body's healthy enough to have any of that free KFC or free Burger King, whatever, or Georgie pie, right? Chocolate ice cream. Didn't even check it. Didn't even check it. All this going on in the 3D illusion, it is for our very, very souls. That's what it's for. It's a battle for our souls. This is what the battle is all about, because without us, they have nothing. Absolutely nothing. And so they fight for what they think is rightfully theirs to control. That's what the battle is a fight. To hold on to what they believe is rightfully theirs to control. And that is us. And by our choice, we gave them permission. By our own choice, by our own free will, we gave them permission. So exactly what I just said. We gave them permission. We consented to pick up our free lunch. The act was aggressive and desperate. It was a desperate move of a rogue group of entities and some humans too, sadly, but it was. They were a part of it. So weaponizing energetics so that humanity literally turned on itself. Humanity just turned on themselves. But thankfully, right? Thankfully, everyone is now seeing the blind spots, the truth of what went down, and are waking up to it now. Still a little bit slow in the waking up part, but getting there right. The awakening is taking place and it's happening. It's getting stronger here in 24. It actually doesn't even serve anyone being in that frequency of ego though. Alright? because it is a false construct. Being in the frequency of ego is just a false construct. It becomes who you think you are, and this is for the reason there is to be a dark night of the soul. There must be. You must go through a dark night of the soul, right? An ego death, to allow the real you, soul, consciousness, to come through, right? So that's why it is so important that we all go through a dark night of the soul, so that we have that ego death, and so that the real you, which is soul, consciousness, can come through. So what exactly does all this have to do with our sun radiating brighter and brighter? Going from a hydrogen to a helium. What's it all got to do with that? It has everything. It has everything to do with it. Because what does this helium, right, do to the Jabiru, to that free lunch? Have to phrase it that way, guys. Alright, just catch my drift. So what does it do? Going from a hydrogen to helium, it has everything. It's a simple reason why they've tried to block out the sun in the first place, knowing that it has the effects on the helium. The sun has an effect on it. It nukes that free lunch and flushes out entities hiding below. All those entities hiding down below that took a dive, they took a nosedive as soon as, the heat in the kitchen just got too hot. So you really just have to catch my drift, guys. Sorry. I have to phrase certain things a certain way. So I want to tell you something, guys, because sadly many that participated in this free lunch without questioning the ingredients in it had lost the closeness and contact with the living God, Prime Creator, Great Spirit, alright, the living God. They had lost all feelings of being connected to Source. All feelings of being connected to Source, which is you. You are God. You are Source. And you have that Source gene. But the connection was lost as soon as they had their free lunch. Didn't check any of the ingredients in it. Ingredients that put a wedge between themselves and Source. So for those of you that are here listening, maybe you were drawn in and to have a listen to this truth. Make no mistake, you guys. You are meant to be here and at this very moment to hear this. Don't go standing in the queue, alright? Don't go standing in the queue to get your free lunch, alright? Stop in your tracks and ponder this for a minute. If you're just thinking about going to stand in the queue to get a free lunch, a free meal, just ponder this for a minute and ask yourself, is that going to be my last meal? We are in this fight for humanity and our planet, and we are taking it back, you guys. We are taking it back. We are fucking taking it back. I'm telling you now, telling you damn straight. We're taking it back. So I encourage you, stay very close to the living God. Alright? Don't go out and get a free lunch. Stay close. Alright? The living God, Prime Creator Source, Great Spirit, is right here inside of you. Don't lose that. The most precious gift that you could ever have. So stay centered in your heart, okay? Because that is where home is. This is where you find safety, right here. Safety. Protect it. Protect it with everything that you've got. The most precious gift that you could ever have. Protect it. Alright? Protect your vessel. Protect your body. Protect your life. We have the gift of life. We're given the gift of life. So please rock the like, subscribe and share for your girl. I would really appreciate that. And also check out the description box down below. You'll find all the links to our Telegram group and our Galactic Jedi Soul family. And a link to a meditation in there if you so need it. And also a link to Ishmael's website and where you can purchase his books from. Alright guys, that's all I have for you for now. And but please only take what resonates for you and use your discernment. Alright, use your discernment, intuition, and read the energies, frequencies and everything. Okay. Also take really good care. Alright, I know a lot of energies are coming in at the moment and it can get a little bit rough, but that's okay. And that is a good sign because we are still ascending. We are still evolving. We are still integrating, right? So, yep. And we've also got our guides that help us to navigate these now moments and times. Alright guys, I love you so much. Thank you for being here with me. Please rock that like and I will see you on the next video. So have an awesome night, day, and wherever you are on planet Earth. I love you guys so much. Thank you for being here. See you guys. Love you all. Bye.